Any feelings we have of disturbance about anything that's occurring all comes about in the same way. And that is holding to a thought and then discriminating about whether that thought is positive or negative, and then accepting or rejecting it. And based on the accumulation of doing that, in other words, that system, that process, we accumulate disturbance. We accumulate all these things that we take to be disturbing. Now, most of the time because of pursuing all thoughts via that model, we think that if we want to calm our thoughts down, or if we want to open our minds or become awakened or enlightened or timelessly wise or whatever we might call it, that in order to do that, we have to get less of these disturbing states. That's what we usually assume, only because we've been habitualized to over and over again accepting some things, rejecting others, and then accumulating the disturbance around what we decide is unacceptable. And so many of us, when we hear about complete mental freedom, we're sure that complete mental freedom has something to do with completely stopping thoughts, especially disturbing thoughts, and that mental freedom must have something to do with only having positive states or positive thoughts and emotions and experiences. Because we have a habit of dualist perception, we just see everything that way, including mental freedom. However, within the expanse of the basic space of awareness, all these thoughts that appear, what I just call points of view, appearing in the all-encompassing pure view of awareness, all of them are equal. They're absolutely equal. They have never been troublesome in any way. It's only when we take them to be troublesome that they are. All they are is the dynamic energy of awareness and nothing else. So we could call this, another thing that we could call this process I just described is old mind. And this is just in a very simple human way. We don't have to say that it belongs to any kind of category of inquiry, like philosophy or spirituality or religion. We'll just say this is about being human. And there's the old mind, and the old mind holds to thoughts and discriminates as to whether they're good or bad, positive or negative, and then based upon that, accepts or rejects and accumulates disturbing states based on that acceptance and rejection. So we'll just call that old mind. It's just one way of looking at things, one way of seeing things. Now, new mind is not something other than old mind. So new mind and old mind are two. The distinction is in whether or not there is distraction by thoughts, whatever they are. When there's no holding to thoughts, they continue to appear, but whether they're judged to be positive or negative matters not. There's just complete relaxation in relation to anything that appears. And it isn't a state that's dissociated from what appears, but rather because awareness is what is the root of everything that appears, awareness is inseparable from these thoughts. So it's awareness that becomes predominant rather than the dictionary definition. Now, another way to look at this with a very simple illustration is just to take a dictionary. It's a huge dictionary, an Oxford Unabridged dictionary, or one of these other dictionaries that you need a special room for. It has so many words in it, and there are probably even more words than that because there are many colloquialisms that aren't in the dictionary. But say we had a book and it had every word in the world in it. To judge our thoughts, no matter what they are, our thoughts about emotions, experiences, sensations, to judge these thoughts to be troublesome is like saying a dictionary is troublesome. Now, a dictionary, it can cause us no trouble. It really can't cause us any trouble. It can only cause us trouble if we look at all those words and then we decide that they really can upset us or not. Now, so why bother? Why bother to even know about this? Well, the reason that we should bother with knowing about this is twofold. One is that in knowing about this and training our perception to completely relax and open from this tight hold and focus on all the thoughts, we enter an entirely new way of being. Rather than this constant process of acceptance and rejection of what is good and what is bad and living within such a tight paradigm of this and that and is and isn't, we completely relax into a space of wisdom that is completely beyond assessing things as to whether they're good and bad. So we open up into a non-conceptual, conceptual space. These two are not two, where we have complete wisdom, primordial wisdom, timeless wisdom that doesn't need thinking to arrive at decisions, that doesn't need thinking to arrive at benefit. And the only way that we can open up to this reality within ourselves is just to relax perception. That's it. If we try to add in all kinds of things to evoke what's already present, then we're going to be off on endless detours. So if we think that we have to do things in a certain way or twist our body into a certain shape or repeat certain words or worship something, then even though this is what we want so much, what we want more than anything, we're going to veer off away from that. Now, when we relax into this openness of complete perceptual openness in all experience, what we experience is awareness that is the root of everything. We just simply relax, open up, and experience the awareness that is the root of everything. And that awareness is synonymous with wisdom and with love and with benefit and contentment and ease. There have always been human beings throughout human history who have known this about themselves and others. Yet at this time in human history, it's the first time where the very direct teachings that have only been available to very, very few in the past are for the first time available to everyone in the world. So this is the only distinction between now and what's always been. Within that distinction is that for the first time, everyone in the world is connected, and we all have a common language of understanding, of being a global human culture to one degree or another. So the first time these teachings can be given in a language system that everyone understands. If I say awareness, then there's no human being anywhere who can say, I'm not aware. But if I say something like Dharmakaya, well, then there'll only be very few people who understand what that means. But if I say timeless wisdom awareness, it's very likely that many more people can relate to that. There isn't any special language system that has ownership over the complete freedom of everything as it is. And there's never anything in the way of the complete freedom of everything as it is. If there's anything at all that even subtly we believe is in the way of the complete freedom and openness of our perception, then we need to really know that that's just a point of view. That's all it is. And no matter how many people might believe it, it's just a point of view.